Hey guys, this is Christina from The Well-Traveled Woman. This morning I was asked a very interesting question. Why does the full moon affect people so badly? And with today being a full moon and a full moon in Virgo nonetheless, and I am a Virgo, I thought it would be so fitting to put together this little video to educate you on why the full moon affects us so much. All right, so we all know that the moon affects us. If you didn't know, now you know. Okay, think about the word lunar. Now think about the word lunatic. It's no coincidence that both of those are related, that they're derived from each other. So why does the moon affect us so badly? Thinking back, when I was in the service industry, I could attest to this before I even really knew about energies and the moon and the planets and that it all plays a part, right? So I was a bartender, and whenever the full moon would come around, people would always act weird. Like a couple days before, a couple days after, people would get like more aggressive, they'd get like super demanding and like rude and needy, and they didn't tip. And that was like the biggest thing. It was like an ongoing inside joke between myself and all my coworkers that we hated the full moons because people always got drunk and crazy. We had to cut off more people. So if you're in the service industry, I know you can relate to that. In an article that I read by the Spiritual Science Research Foundation, they also talk about these kinds of things, that there is an increase in emergency room visits because people are more accident prone. There is higher levels of like physical and emotional distress. And so why is that? Why does the moon energy affect us so bad? Well, you think about the layers of a person, okay? So we have our conscious mind, our thinking, waking, rationalizing mind, and then we have our subconscious mind or our unconscious mind, and that's what controls all of our autonomous programs. It controls all of our patterns of thinking and all of that stuff, right? We're not even aware. We just operate. We just go, and our subconscious controls us, right? And so if you think about that, our conscious mind, you can think about it as our thoughts and the things that we think, all of that, the conscious decisions that we make, the conscious actions that we take. And then you can think of the subconscious mind kind of like the impressions that we have, and that is going to be different for every single person based on their life history, their life experiences, the traumas that they had in their life, this life, as well as all of their past lives. It also pulls into consideration the DNA and the different traits that we carry with us through generationally. And so you can think of the subconscious as impressions, and then our conscious as thoughts. And if you think about it, our subconscious, those impressions, those feelings that we have about the world around us, those drive our thoughts, right? And our thoughts allow us to take action in the world. If you think about the moon energy and how it affects us, so the moon energy is more subtle than our thoughts, right? But it is less subtle than our impressions. So our impressions are like way more powerful. Then there's the moon, then there's our thoughts, right? So we have our impressions, and then the moon energy kind of like draws out our impressions. So that could result in a lot of crap bubbling up for us into our thoughts, into our conscious mind. We can be aware of this or not aware of this, depending on where you're at in your level of evolution and your consciousness and in your awakening. That's different for everybody, and that's okay. So our thoughts carry an energetic signature. You can also call this a frequency if you want. Like, our thoughts have an energy. If you think about, visualize your brain and you see the synapses and the neurons, it's a firing of information, an energy transfer from a synapse to a receptor site, right? There's like this, and it's like a firing in between that produces our thoughts. It's energy. Everything is energy. So our thoughts are energy, our impressions are energy, and so is the moon. The moon energy activates random thoughts within us, random actions that are hidden in our impressions, in our subconscious. Consequently, any dominant personality traits or defects can also bubble up to the surface, and they can kind of start to dominate our thoughts. So you can see this as a good thing or a bad thing. If you think about like a writer who during a full moon, their dominant creative thoughts come up and they're able to create and write a book and just like zone in and like draw all this inspiration during a full moon time. That's a positive. But at the same side of that coin, on the other side, there's a negative aspect. And you think about like alcoholics who perpetuate that drinking and alcoholism and, you know, consequently become more aggressive and are cheap and they don't tip. So you can see that as both sides of the same coin. So during a full moon and a new moon, both the sun and the moon have a combined gravitational pull on the earth itself. If you think about it like, okay, so here's the earth and here's like the moon, right? You're gonna have like a pull, almost like a teardrop coming into the moon, and it's pulling, the light is reflecting and pulling. And as it does that with the light, the combination of the illumination of the moon, what does light do? Generates heat, right? That causes water vapor to be put into the atmosphere, right? It makes water evaporate, turns things into the gaseous form. Well, negative energies, negative entities are always in a gaseous form, right? And so you think about that. The full moon energy is like pulling from the earth and it's creating like this high pressure belt. In that belt, what's getting sucked up is all those gaseous energies, right? The water vapor combining with the negative energies. You can call this, you know, ghosts or demons or spirits or whatever, negative thought forms, whatever you want to call it. It's the negative energies and it's being pulled up from the earth and sucked into the moon, right? Along with water vapor. And we are mostly water, so that combines that, you know, and then we absorb it because it's in the atmosphere. We breathe it, we live it, we're in this. And so it has an effect, and a very, very subtle, we can't detect it consciously, but it has a very subtle energetic effect on our physical body. And on our whole planet, actually. During a full moon, that's when crops really grow, fruits, vegetables, whatever. They really grow during the full moon. The full moon influences the tides of the ocean. We're water, so it would make sense that the moon influences us as well. And it is said that during a full moon, the intensity of that energy is exponentially greater, ×3 actually. And it lasts 2 days prior and 2 days after, which totally makes sense and fits in line with why people act a fool during the full moon. Now's the time to release all of that crap that's bubbling up, all of these dominant personality defects. See them, be aware of them so that you can release them. That's the best thing that you can do to protect yourself against the full moon energy, is just have an awareness. Reflect. How does the moon affect you? How does it change your behavior? Increase your meditation, increase your prayer to your higher power. Whatever you do, you can chant, you can say your God's name, your deity's name. You can even chant the Om if you want. These are good things that you want to do to help keep yourself protected, to keep your energy grounded. With that, I'm going to end this video. I hope you guys have a wonderful, blessed day. Enjoy this awesomeness. I hope it's sunny wherever you are, wherever you're watching this from. Enjoy this full moon. Remember that full moon is a time for letting go of the crap that's not serving us, right? It is a completion period. It's the end of the moon cycle. The new moon is coming. New things are coming for you too, just like the moon. Feel free to leave a comment down below. Let me know what it is specifically that you learned, if you learned anything new, if this video was helpful for you. All feedback is welcomed and appreciated.